Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I was recently surfing the internet and came across a thread where people were sharing the biggest betrayal they've ever experienced. The reactions were intense. Some were heartbreaking, some were infuriating, and some were surprisingly close to us in some ways. This first one, posted by a user named Orphan Bitch Rat, just hits you right away. They wrote, "When I was 12, my mother informed me we were going to see my Uncle Brad whether I liked it or not, even though he'd molested me when I was 4. She said that it had happened a long time ago and that I needed to get over it." Wow. The comments on that were full of support, but also just shock. People couldn't fathom a parent doing that, forcing a child back into the orbit of their abuser and telling them to just get over it. The betrayal there isn't just from the uncle, but profoundly from the mother who was supposed to protect them. Just devastating. Here's another story about family, but a different kind of shattering betrayal. This one's from Hickory Nut 60. Found out that son and daughter had different biological fathers, neither one me. My son's father was my best friend and little sister's husband. Rough times. He later added they were married 8 years, and the news broke on New Year's Day, 1990. He fought for custody, loved those kids immensely, but eventually got alienated from them. He said his son passed away 2 years ago, and he's never met his daughter's kids, his grandkids. The sheer layers of betrayal there, from his wife, his best friend, his sister, and the ongoing pain of losing his children. It's just incredibly sad. Betrayal in romantic relationships and friendships came up a lot. This one from extreme_today_984 involves both, plus something extra sinister. New Year's Eve 2016. My girlfriend, brother, and I were hanging out. She got into my brother's hammock with him. Anyway, I brush it off. Fast forward to the end of the party. I started to feel really tired and loopy. Only had a couple drinks. I go out into the living room and she's on my brother's lap making out with him. I told them both to get out. It wasn't until later that I connected the dots. I used to joke around with her about how she roofied me on our first date. She, of course, didn't find funny. After that incident, I'm fairly certain that she drugged me and tried to sleep with my brother, broke up with her. Haven't talked to my brother in years, completely inseparable up until that point, still haunts me. Man, the feeling of being drugged in your own home, potentially multiple times, and then seeing your girlfriend with your brother, losing both those relationships in one night, that's a level of betrayal that's hard to wrap your head around. Okay, shifting gears just a tiny bit, not all betrayals are life-shattering traumas, but they can still sting, especially when you're young. User Silver_Scallion_1127 shared this memory. This sounds pretty lame, but when my dad gave me $60 when I was 7 or 8 for my B-Day, I felt really rich. I wanted to buy a $30 video game. When he did buy it for me, he pocked the $30 and I asked for it back. He told me in the most stern voice, "You got your gift with the money I gave you. I take back the rest you don't use." I'm 35 now and still recall this. It struck me so much how fucked over I felt from my own dad. You know, he calls it lame, but so many people in the comments related to that feeling. It's not about the $30. It's about that sense of unfairness and broken trust from a parent, especially over something that felt so significant when you were a kid. That stuff sticks with you. Then there's the betrayal that comes from people who are supposed to care for you professionally. This one from Alleycat32 is absolutely gut-wrenching. My son's lifelong PCP ignoring a scan faxed to her from a radiologist at the ER in 2018 showing a tumor on his liver, even had it measured. She didn't tell us or order follow-up testing. He just died this past October from late-stage liver cancer the doctors at Children's were surprised to find. 2 weeks after his 16th birthday. There are no words. The negligence is staggering. People in the comments were urging them to sue, not for money, but to prevent it from happening to another family. To lose your child, knowing it might have been preventable if someone had just done their job, that's an unimaginable betrayal by the system meant to heal. Okay, let's take a quick breather. Amidst all the heavy stories, there were a few moments of, well, different kinds of betrayal, like this one from Kashi Dragonfly. My cat approached like she wanted pets, but when I reached my hand out, she bit me, right? Or Gatton, who added, laying on their back, presenting their belly. It's a trap. Every cat owner felt that one. And then there was Cowboyd in 69, who simply said, "I trusted a fart once, I'll never do that again." Okay, thank you for the relatable levity, internet. Sometimes the smallest betrayals are the most universal. Even Taco Bell fans felt betrayed, like Foos 15. I was probably the most loyal Taco Bell college kid customer they've ever had, and then they snatched my quesarito right out from under me. The struggle is real, Fuzz 15. The struggle is real. But back to the more serious stuff. Workplace betrayals were another common theme. User Kara_Bara shared this. Coworker passed one of my procedures, saved the company around $1 million a month, and passed it off as his own. Luckily, all the lab notebooks were clearly in my handwriting, and all the data was under my log, but wow, that one hurt. Ugh, someone taking credit for your hard work? That's a classic, and it feels awful. Thankfully, she had the proof. But the audacity of that coworker. And then there's the societal promise that feels like a betrayal. This one from building_snowmen hit a nerve with a lot of people. Being told my whole childhood that if I kept my head down, did well in school, and got a good job, that I'd have a nice, comfortable middle-class life. Well, I have a law degree, work as an experienced trial attorney, and my wife works, and we still barely scrape by. It was all a lie. They move the rungs of the ladder as you're climbing it. That feeling that the goalposts keep moving, that the promise you were sold doesn't match reality. Yeah, that resonates with a lot of folks right now. It feels like a betrayal by the system itself. I want to share one more story, and it's incredibly harrowing, but also has a message of resilience. This is from Wrong Jace. Wrong Jace shared a deeply traumatic childhood, growing up with parents addicted to meth, living out of a car, facing neglect and hunger. They found solace with a neighbor, a religious woman who fed them and taught them about God. But this woman, who seemed like a savior, began abusing them. She used religion to manipulate and scare them into silence for a year before they finally entered foster care. Wrong Jace spoke about the years of shame, drinking, and therapy that followed. But the incredible part? They ended by saying, "I am in a much better place. I have grown past the trauma and can finally tell my own story without guilt or resentment. I'm working towards my degree in psychiatry and want to become a child psychologist. I also have a pop album soon to be released." Fuck her. People can heal. You guys got this, and I'm rooting for you. Reading that, the absolute horror they went through, the ultimate betrayal by someone who pretended to offer safety and God's love, and then seeing their determination to heal, to help others, to reclaim their voice literally through music, it's just unbelievably powerful. It doesn't erase the betrayal, but it shows incredible strength in the face of it. So, yeah, those are just some of the stories people shared about their biggest betrayals. It runs the gamut from systemic issues and devastating personal traumas to stolen birthday money and cats being cats. What strikes me is how deeply trust, once broken, can affect us. Whether it's trust in a parent, a partner, a friend, a doctor, or even the society we live in. Healing from that kind of wound takes time, and sometimes, as we saw, incredible resilience. I don't know if you've experienced something similar, big or small. If you feel comfortable sharing, maybe you can leave a comment below. Let's keep it respectful, of course. Or just offer some words of support for the people whose stories we heard today. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone makes a difference. Thank you for listening today, especially with such heavy topics. If you found this meaningful, maybe give the video a like and consider subscribing for more discussions. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.